When I was a teenager, I suffered very badly with acne, a condition that is very common in teenagers. It was very poorly managed by medicine. I thought they gave me antibiotics, which is still the main treatment these days, which would control it but not get rid of it. It would come back again. And at that time there weren't any other treatments, and I didn't like the general idea that they couldn't help this. It wouldn't go away. I had a range of advice from doctors, one of which I remember was, well, why don't you just... I had quite long hair, you know, teenager, a bit of a hippie. And one of the doctors said, well, cut your hair and go into the army. That'll sort you out. I thought this was very unhelpful. And after university, I was down in Cornwall, staying with my mother for a year, and she got me a job with a local person who'd inherited a kind of stately, not a stately home, a mansion, Elizabethan mansion. So I spent the whole summer talking to this lady called Image, and it turned out that she was an osteopath, but a self-taught homeopath. And she knew all sorts of other things, herbalism, and lived in a small cottage in the middle of a field. And I thought, this is a very interesting a woman to speak to. And she used to consult the moon phases and things about when to take things. And she looked and said, I think I can help you. So she started to bring in these books. And after talking to me for a while, she said, read this. And I read it, and it was exactly a description of me, and of a particular homeopathic remedy. So she gave me a treatment based on various things, mainly that I'd had a series of smallpox vaccinations in Africa. According to my mother, about 8 of them, because they wouldn't take, so they forced them until it took. This is not a very good thing for health, and she related it to this, treated me, and the acne disappeared. And I was around about 19 at this point, 20. I was very impressed with this. And she said, I then had to leave to come back to this area to work. And her parting words were, I think you should study this, to me. And I thought, oh, no, that's... No, I've got other things to do. And I left it for some years. And then went to London to work and live. And thought, yeah, I'm going to study this. This is much more interesting. So I went to the College of Homeopathy, which was the only college in those days, in I think 1987, and studied homeopathy there, qualified, and then started to practice in this area.
I had chronic fatigue really quite badly after a yellow fever injection. I knew almost immediately because I was at work. I'd been at work for 30 odd years, going to work every day, perfectly normal. I have a yellow fever injection, and within 4 days I can hardly get out of bed. The doctors at the surgery where Andrew was a homeopath tried all measure of things over several years to help, and nothing seemed to help. They then sent me to the chronic fatigue clinic at the Mineral Water Hospital in Bath, and that didn't help either. And then I saw Andrew, but by this time not only did I have chronic fatigue, I had chemical sensitivity really quite badly. And Andrew has been dealing with that for a while now, some while now, but I would say I probably don't have chronic fatigue. I still have a problem, a little bit of a problem with my liver if I get into a situation where there are too many chemicals, and so I'm careful where I go, but that is very livable with. It's taken quite a long time, but I have quite a good quality of life. And going back to my chronic fatigue, there were 9 of us, 10 of us in a group. And I got in touch with them all quite recently for another project, and one of them is better, one is considerably better, but the other 6 are no better than they were in 2007. And what they need is something like homeopathy in the National Health, because they don't have any money. And that would be an ideal situation where I'm fortunate I've been able to, well, I've made myself afford it, but they can't. And there is no way forward for them. They remain in this very poor condition of quality of life. And it's terribly important that we somehow get through to the authorities, the National Health, anyone we can, to say it does work. It really does work. How you do it, I don't know. The doctor I'm with now said, "Marlene, I'm sorry, there isn't any more I can do for you." She was absolutely upfront with it. She didn't know what to do. And in her GP role, she said, "Go and see Andrew."